Welcome to the KEP Knowledge English Podcast. I'm your host, James Rivers, and I'm thrilled to have you join us on this journey of learning and discovery.
And I'm Sophia Wells. Whether you're looking to improve your English skills or dive into insightful discussions on a range of topics, you're in the right place.
Here on KEP, we explore everything from language learning tips to thought-provoking conversations that will challenge your perspective and expand your knowledge.
Each episode will bring you fresh insights, practical advice, and a little bit of fun along the way. So grab your headphones and let's get started.
This is KEP Knowledge English Podcast. Let's dive in. Hey there, welcome back to Life Unfiltered. I'm James, your go-to guy for deep thoughts, hot coffee, and trying to figure out life one episode at a time.
And I'm Sophia, your girl for spicy opinions, weird analogies, and always asking the questions that make people squirm just a little.
That is painfully accurate.
I try. So, today's topic, it's a biggie. We're asking the ultimate career question. Should you work for passion or for money?
Oh yeah, the age-old dilemma. It's the kind of question that keeps people up at night or stuck at jobs they hate.
Or broke and chasing a dream that doesn't pay the bills? Been there. Not cute.
And we're not here to give you some shiny, one-size-fits-all answer. Life doesn't work like that.
Nope. We're going to dig in. Get real. Because whether you're 22 and figuring things out or 42 and quietly panicking, you're not alone.
You're definitely not. I remember back in my 20s, I was working this job in finance. Steady paycheck, decent benefits, and I hated it.
Ugh, those fluorescent lights.
Those and the soul-sucking meetings. Every day I'd walk in and feel like I was putting on a costume. I looked successful, but I didn't feel alive.
See, for me, it was the opposite. I jumped straight into what I loved, writing sketch comedy. I was all passion, zero plan.
And how did that go?
I was eating instant noodles for months. Like, I'd get excited when I found loose change in my coat pocket. But I was weirdly happy. Stressed, but happy.
That's the thing, right? Passion can feel amazing, but it doesn't always come with health insurance.
And money? It gives you options, security, a solid bed to crash in after a long day.
So today we're breaking it down. Passion versus paycheck. Is it really one or the other? Can they coexist? And how do you figure out what you need most right now?
Because no one talks about how this changes. Like what I needed at 25 isn't what I need now. Sorry, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life is cute until rent's due and you're crying into your cereal.
Truth. We want this to be real, practical, and hopefully a little inspiring.
So grab a snack, pull up your mental to-do list, and let's figure this out together.
And hey, if you've ever felt torn between chasing your dream and choosing stability, you're in the right place. We've been there. We get it.
And we've got stories, some funny, some slightly embarrassing, but all 100% real.
All right, let's jump in. Passion versus money. Which should guide your work?
Let's find out. All right, James, let's start with the phrase people love to throw around follow your passion. Like, what does that even mean? It sounds good on a coffee mug, but what does it actually look like?
Yeah, it's one of those things that sounds super inspiring until you actually try to apply it to your life. I mean, what if you don't even know what your passion is?
Right? Or what if your passion is super niche? Like, I was obsessed with dolphins as a kid. Do I become a marine biologist, a dolphin YouTuber? What's the path there?
A dolphin YouTuber actually sounds kind of amazing, but you're spot on. Passion isn't always clear cut. People assume it's one big lightning bolt moment, some magical discovery, but sometimes it's just what you enjoy doing consistently, even when no one's watching.
Yup. Like my friend Megan, I've mentioned her before. She literally gets excited about color-coded storage bins. I'm talking full-blown Container Store loyalty card and everything.
She sounds like someone I need in my life. My closet is chaos.
You and everyone else. But here's the thing, she turned that into a home, organizing business. Nothing flashy, just her and some shelves. And now she's booked out months in advance. That's passion in action. Quiet, practical, and making money.
That's such a good example. And it's a reminder that passion doesn't have to be flashy or creative. It can be structure or systems or solving problems.
Totally. It's not always painting murals in Paris or starting a tech startup in Silicon Valley. Sometimes it's just loving spreadsheets. Oh, weirdly.
I used to think passion had to be big. For a long time, I thought, well, I like writing, but that's not enough. So I pushed it aside. I chased more normal jobs, but I was miserable.
What flipped the switch?
Honestly, burnout. I hit a point where I couldn't pretend anymore. I was doing marketing for this big company, and on paper it looked great. But every day I'd come home and feel numb.
Oop, been there.
One night, I started writing short stories again, just for me, no pressure. And something lit up inside me, like I hadn't felt that alive in years. That's when I realized this thing I kept calling a hobby, it was actually a piece of who I am.
Boom. That's passion. It doesn't always scream, it whispers. It shows up in what you return to over and over without being told.
Yes. And here's another thing, just because you love something doesn't mean you have to turn it into a career. And just because you're good at something doesn't mean it's your passion.
Oh my gosh, say that louder. People confuse talent with purpose, like I'm great at keeping my plants alive, but I'm not trying to open a botanical garden.
You'd have a great gift shop, though.
Thank you. But seriously, passion is deeply personal. It doesn't always translate to profit, but it does add meaning. It makes you feel you again.
Exactly. So if you're listening and thinking, I don't know what my passion is, don't stress. Start with what makes you feel curious. What do you do when you're procrastinating? What would you still do, even if no one paid you?
That's the secret sauce. Passion doesn't have to be loud or perfect, it just has to be true to you. Okay, now let's bring it down to earth for a second because, yeah, passion is great, but let's be real. Passion doesn't pay rent.
That's the hard truth. You can be the most inspired artist in the world, but if your power gets shut off, inspiration won't heat your shower.
Exactly. Like, I love writing comedy, right? But in the early days, I was also waitressing, tutoring on the side, and even, don't laugh, walking dogs in the rain.
Hey, hustle is hustle. And honestly, I respect that. People think if you're passionate, the money will just magically show up. Spoiler, it doesn't. Not right away.
Nope. I remember one month where I literally had $17 left after rent. 17. And I had to choose between groceries or gas.
Oh man, I've been there too. I once stretched a single bag of rice over 6 meals. I was doing freelance copywriting and payments were always late. It was stressful. Like stomach in knots every day kind of stressful.
That's the side people don't see when they say, just follow your dreams. Like, sure, but maybe follow them with a plan.
Yes, passion without a plan is just chaos. And honestly, sometimes it's okay to work a job just because it pays the bills. That doesn't make you a sellout, it makes you smart.
Totally. I had this super boring admin job once, filing invoices, answering emails, the whole cubicle life. Was it exciting? No. Did it pay for my writing classes? Heck yeah.
I think there's this idea that you either work a job you love or you're miserable forever. But it's not that black and white. Sometimes your money job is just a stepping stone, a bridge.
Right. And sometimes you need that bridge, or else you'll drown trying to chase a dream without a life raft.
That's deep, but true. I always tell people security isn't the enemy of creativity. Sometimes it protects it.
Oh, 100%. When your basic needs are met, food, rent, stability, you actually have the headspace to be creative. Otherwise, all your energy goes into survival.
Exactly. That's why I always cringe a little when people say, if you're not all in, you're not serious. Like, not everyone has that luxury.
Thank you. Some people have student loans, sick parents, kids. Life doesn't pause just because you have a dream.
That's why there's no shame in doing what you need to do to stay afloat. Holding down a stable job while slowly working on your passion is still valid, still brave, still meaningful.
And it actually shows commitment. You're putting in the work, even when it's inconvenient. That's real dedication.
So if you're listening to this thinking, ugh, I'm stuck in a job I don't love, give yourself grace. That job might be what's buying you time to figure things out.
Exactly. Passion is important, but so is peace of mind. And sometimes your boring paycheck job is giving you the breathing room to chase your dream without panicking.
It's not either or, it's survival and soul. You just have to find your rhythm.
And remember, it's okay if your journey doesn't look like anyone else's. That doesn't make it wrong, it makes it yours.
All right, let's get into something that trips a lot of people up, the idea of the perfect job. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. That magical unicorn job where you bounce out of bed every morning, the coffee pours itself, your boss sends you emojis, and every task feels like a Pixar movie montage.
Yes. The one where your passion pays 6 figures, you have unlimited PTO, and you work from a hammock in Bali.
Hmm. And your coworkers are basically your soulmates, and your Google Calendar is somehow always clear at 3 p.m. for yoga.
It sounds nice, right? But let's be honest, it's a fantasy. That job probably doesn't exist, and chasing it can make you feel like you're always falling short.
Facts. I used to think if I didn't love my job every single second, something was wrong with me. Like I'd picked the wrong path or missed some life changing opportunity.
Same. I thought if I wasn't constantly inspired, then maybe I wasn't really passionate enough. But that's not how real life works.
Nope. Every job, even your dream job, comes with stuff you don't like emails, deadlines, awkward meetings where everyone talks in circles for 45 minutes.
Don't forget tech issues right before a big presentation.
Ugh, yes. And even when you love the core of your work, there will always be days when you're just tired, bored, over it.
That doesn't mean you chose wrong, it just means you're human. Work isn't supposed to complete you, it's supposed to support you.
Let me tell you about my cousin Joe. He drives a delivery truck. It's not glamorous. He doesn't post about it on LinkedIn. But you know what? He likes it.
Really?
Yeah, he says it gives him peace. He listens to podcasts all day, doesn't have to deal with office drama, and he's home by 5 to be with his kids. To him, that's success.
That's so good. Because we often measure jobs by status or salary, but fulfillment looks different for everyone.
Exactly. Some people want freedom, some want structure, some want creativity, some just want peace. And none of those are wrong.
And it's okay if your job isn't your passion. You can still live a passionate life outside of work. Your identity doesn't have to be tied to your job title.
Yes, we've built this weird culture where people feel ashamed if they're not changing the world through their job. Like, chill. You can work retail and still be an amazing painter, parent, musician, or community volunteer.
Your job doesn't have to be your whole life. It can just be part of it. A tool, a vehicle, not the destination.
Ooh, I love that. A vehicle, not the destination. That's going in my quote journal.
I'm honored. But seriously, listeners, if you've been waiting for your perfect job to magically appear, maybe give yourself permission to stop waiting. Instead, ask, does my job support the kind of life I want?
Boom. That's the question. Not is it perfect, but does it give me enough to build a life that feels good?
And if the answer is yes, or even just mostly yes, then maybe that's enough.
Spoiler alert, mostly yes is about as perfect as it gets in the real world. All right, here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. What if you're just really into making money?
Yup, let's go there. Because in some circles, even saying that out loud feels like a crime. Like, how dare you enjoy building wealth?
Seriously, it's like people think if you care about money, you're shallow or greedy. Like, sorry, Karen, maybe I just like being able to afford air conditioning in July.
And maybe you like not panicking when your car makes that weird noise.
Exactly. Look, not everyone's dream is painting in a field with sunflowers. Some people get their thrill from investments, building a business, flipping properties, whatever. That's valid.
Totally. I've got a friend, Brandon. He owns a chain of vending machines. That's his thing. He loves the strategy, the numbers, the passive income game.
That's awesome. He's not chasing his childhood dream, but he's creating a life that gives him time and freedom. That is passion, just in a different language.
Exactly, and he gets fired up about it. Like, truly passionate. He'll talk to you for hours about snack placement and route efficiency. You can feel the joy.
Okay, but that's the thing. Money can be the passion, or at least the pursuit of it. The structure, the systems, the growth, that's exciting for some people.
And I think there's wisdom in that. Money gives you choices, options, flexibility. Sometimes the pursuit of financial freedom is the dream.
Let's be honest, money gives you room to breathe, to care for your parents, travel, take risks, fund a passion later without worrying about how you're going to eat that week.
Right. And let's not confuse loving money with only loving money. Just because you prioritize income doesn't mean you're heartless.
Exactly. Some of the most generous people I know are the ones who make bank. Why? Because they can. They've got the resources to support others.
You know what else? Sometimes passion grows after the money shows up. Like someone starts a side gig to make extra cash and then realizes, oh, wow, I actually love this.
Yes. Or they realize they love being their own boss, calling the shots, building something. That's passion too.
We need to drop this idea that money and meaning are mutually exclusive. They're not enemies.
If anything, they can fuel each other. You can use money to build a meaningful life, and you can find meaning in building wealth.
So, for the folks listening who love business, finance, scaling ideas, you're not selling out. You're just fluent in a different type of creativity.
Yeah, maybe your art is spreadsheets, your poetry is profit margins. Own it.
And the truth is, the world needs all kinds of passions, not just the romantic, dramatic, Hollywood type ones.
So if chasing the dollar lights your fire, go ahead and sprint. Just remember why you're running and what it's for.
Because when you know your why, even a passion for money becomes something deeper. Freedom, legacy, purpose.
And honestly, that's one of the best combinations there is. All right, let's get to the golden question. Drum roll, please. Can you have both passion and money?
Ah, yes, the elusive dream combo. Like a job that feeds your soul and your wallet. That's the career jackpot right there.
It's like trying to find a coffee that wakes you up and doesn't give you the jitters. Possible? Maybe. Common? Not really.
Yeah, it's rare, but not impossible. The key is timing and patience. You don't always start there, but you can build toward it.
Totally. I think people expect it to happen instantly. Like, I want to quit my job tomorrow and magically get paid to make art in my pajamas. It doesn't work that way, folks.
Nope. Sometimes it's a slow build. You work the job that pays the bills during the day, and you pour into your passion at night. That's how it worked for me.
Right? I wrote my first sketch comedy scripts on the subway, literally, on my phone between stops. And yeah, I was exhausted, but I was also doing something that lit me up.
That's the trick. It's about integration, not instant perfection. You find small ways to include passion in your life while staying financially stable.
Exactly. It's like layering. You don't just jump from step 1 to step 10, you stack it up over time. Skills, experience, connections, income streams.
And sometimes your job evolves. Like, I never thought podcasting would be a full time thing. It started as a side project. Then suddenly people were listening and asking for more.
Boom! Passion becomes income. That's the sweet spot.
But here's the thing, not every passion has to become your paycheck. Sometimes keeping it separate actually keeps it fun.
Oh, yes. I know someone who's obsessed with baking, but she refuses to do it professionally. She says the minute it becomes a business, the joy disappears.
That's real. Monetizing something can change the vibe. Deadlines, customer demands, pricing, it's a different beast.
So, yeah, you can have both, but maybe not in the same way you imagined, and not all at once.
Exactly. Think of it like seasons. There might be a season where you focus on security and another where you take a risk for passion. Life shifts, so do priorities.
One of my favorite quotes is, "You can have it all, just not all at the same time." That applies here big time.
Love that. And if you're in a season where it feels off balance, that's okay. That doesn't mean you failed, it means you're working on it.
So if you're listening and wondering, am I doing this wrong? No, you're not. You're in process. Building something takes time.
And sometimes the job you're tolerating today is the foundation for the freedom you'll have tomorrow.
Exactly. You're not stuck. You're stacking, building, shaping your own mix of purpose and paycheck.
So, yes, you can have both. It just takes a little strategy and a whole lot of grace. Okay, deep breath. We've covered a lot: passion, money, surviving off ramen noodles, vending machines.
And don't forget dolphin YouTubers. That was important.
Of course, but now it's time to bring it home. If someone's listening right now feeling stuck between doing what they love or chasing a steady paycheck, what do we want them to walk away with?
Here's my 2 cents, and I say this with love. You don't have to choose just one. This isn't some dramatic rom-com where you pick passion and throw your phone in a lake. You can be smart and inspired.
Yes, it's not either or, it's both and, but not always at the same time and not in equal measure every season of your life.
Exactly. You might have a year where you're all about stability. You're building savings, paying off debt, getting your health in check. That's not selling out. That's called adulting.
Then maybe a year later, you take a leap, launch that Etsy shop, audition for that show, apply for that nonprofit gig you've been eyeing for ages.
Boom. That's called evolving. And honestly, no one gets it perfect. We're all just adjusting the dial as we go, sometimes turning up the passion, sometimes cranking the paycheck.
And it's okay if your path looks different than everyone else's. Your coworker might love their 9 to 5. Your friend might be living on a sailboat writing poetry. That doesn't make your journey any less valid.
Preach. And here's the kicker: whatever choice you make, you can change your mind later. Choosing money now doesn't mean you've locked your passion in a closet forever.
Right. And choosing passion now doesn't mean you'll never want or need stability later. Life changes. You change.
So if you're stressing, thinking, I have to make the perfect decision right now or I'll mess everything up forever, breathe. That's not real. Life isn't a one-lane highway. It's a weird, winding road full of detours, coffee stops, and scenic routes.
Beautifully said. And honestly, whatever path you're on, if it allows you to feel present, curious, and aligned with your values, even just a little bit, you're doing better than you think.
Yep. And hey, if you're stuck in a job you don't love right now, but it's helping you survive while you figure things out, that's not failure. That's strategy.
So here's our big takeaway: figure out what matters most to you in this season of life. Is it freedom, security, creativity, peace? There's no wrong answer, just your answer.
And once you know that, don't be afraid to make a move. Big or small, even just one little shift in your week can get you closer to a life that feels right.
And remember, you are not behind. You are not broken. You're just building.
Ooh, that gave me chills. Say it again.
You're not behind. You're not broken. You're just building.
That's the kind of stuff we want you to carry into your week, friends.
All right, that's it for today. Thanks for spending time with us. If this episode hit home, share it with someone who's stuck in the passion versus paycheck dilemma.
And don't forget to follow us, leave a review if you liked hanging out. And hey, go do one thing this week that feeds your spirit or your bank account. Bonus points if it's both.
We'll see you next time on Life Unfiltered.